It's who's doing the sales planning at the very beginning, where are they based, and what knowledge do they have of the market. So that's something that we can do in Europe. The team are Europeans, and we can take the feedback from the client, understand what's working for them in their home market. Maybe that's the US, maybe that's Canada, maybe that's Spain or the UK. We are pretty equal from US to Europe and Europe to Europe as far as the technology companies that we're working with. So it starts with the planning. Then it's building the team based on that planning, and then having that team sit in our offices in almost kind of an incubator type environment, where it could start with an account executive, half-time or full-time, could start with a lead generation team, could start with an inside sales team, but all under our management. And sometimes we get it right at the beginning, and sometimes we might get the strategy right, but the resource is wrong. And so we can swap that resource out immediately as soon as we notice at the local level that the fit might not be right. And so it's really about building that plan, building that team, executing on the plan with the team, and then growing it. And it's just not, let's say, UK based. Maybe you want to launch in the UK, but equally you want to launch with native Germans in Germany and French in France, and equally in other markets. Maybe some of these markets are a good fit. Maybe some of these markets you've arrived too early or too late, and you need to address that quickly. So we can typically do that planning, source the team, typically people that are already working on our team or active on our team, and launch that whole sales activity in under a month. Whereas if somebody is doing recruitment, they need to find the recruiter, give them the brief, they need to fly back and forth if they can, if not, do that remotely. The recruiter reaches out in LinkedIn, finds people that they don't know, finds a long list, finds a short list, interview, they pull the people on. That whole process can take 6 months. And if those people aren't right, because they spend a lot of money recruiting those people up front, it can take probably 6 months before they realize, you know what, this just isn't working for us. We need to let the person go, start again. And then they really are starting again. If that was the lead person in the market, kind of building the strategy, building the pipeline, once that person is lost, it's really starting over from scratch. Whereas we take a month, we have a management team behind that whole process. We're bringing on resources. We can easily swap out any of those resources. And so the speed to market is faster. The quality team is better because they're people that we know and hired specifically for the strategy of the client. And the risk is lower because there's no upfront cost as far as recruitment. There's no employment cost. There's no facilities cost, et cetera. There's no taxation that has to happen. All the revenue comes back to their home country. And we can grow that quite quickly, really on demand with the client, starting with half-time resources, half-time lead gen, half-time inside sales or account people, scale them to full-time, and then expand the team as large as we need to go. Well, we've done this 300 times, so we have a pretty good feel across those different verticals. We have about 15 different sales hubs, so local managers and 15 kind of main markets in Europe. So it's not me, the American in Europe, doing the recruiting. It's typically our French lead or our Spanish lead or our UK lead. So there's lots of local subtleties of knowing who the right fit is going to be, depending on kind of the service that they're offering, depending on the target market, et cetera, and bringing that person on and then giving them the tools to be successful, giving them the right data, localizing those marketing tools, communicating back to the client what the client needs to do to be successful in Europe, pricing in pounds or in euros, adjusting the messaging upfront. And these are all things that we can do even before we launch to address any obstacles that might slow the overall sales process. And as I said, we don't always get it right. So sometimes we'll be building the team. We'll have 5-10 people on the team. And if somebody's not gelling with the team, we'll work to correct it. And if we can't correct it, we'll swap them out at no cost to our clients. No, they always tell the name of the client. I mean, I call them my team or our team because they're employed or contracted by us, but their work is 100% to the name of the client. And if they're 100% for a client, they're 100% for the client, and they're not doing anything else. If they're 50% for a client and 50% for another client, then when they're on a particular assignment, that's all they're doing. So if they're selling into the enterprise market, they're focusing on those enterprise accounts, and they're only selling one product half of their time. And then the other half of their time, they're focusing on another product. So they don't mix those two products. The only time they might be doing it is if they're going to a client that knows them, kind of sees them as part of their extended business development team, And that's really the case with our telco salespeople. So people that have been selling into Vodafone or BT or Orange or Vodafone their whole life, now they've gained a reputation within those accounts is really being a biz dev expert, of being somebody that they can rely on and sourcing innovative technologies and bringing these technologies to the UK or France or Germany. So the door is always open to these people because they know they're typically working on 1, 2, or 3 innovative technologies at a time, and that they've done the due diligence on the technologies and the company and the management before they put their name behind it to bring it into the market. So there could be a situation where they're presenting 2 new technologies, but that's rare. Typically, it could be a fiber optic technology, or it could be a Wi-Fi technology in talking about the telco space, or an operations technology. And you're gathering the operations team and you're focusing on this one technology, this one space. You're not bringing anything else up in the discussion.